More Passe Compose? Oh, this French language is killing me. Oh my god.
Bonjour et bienvenue à la classe de Mademoiselle Félix. Today we're going to talk about the Passe Compose with Etre. So last time we talked about the Passe Compose with avoir, and we learned that the Passe Compose is used to describe actions that were done or events that took place in the past. Okay, basically expressing the past. Something had happened already. Okay. But today we're going to continue on with the past tense, but we're going to use more so the verb être. And one of the things that we also learned with avoir is that we need two verbs to form the passé composé. The first verb is called the, I want you to comment down below and tell me what the first verb is called. And we know that the second is called the past participle. Okay? Don't you go and look over your notes. No, and don't go play that video back again. I'm watching you. I can see you. I can see you typing it in. Don't pause this video. All right. So don't forget to leave a comment down below to tell me which verb, which is the first verb that we need to form the passé composé with avoir. So here in our examples, we're going to see that in order to form the passé composé with avoir, we need the first verb and the past participle. Here we have avoir already conjugated in the present tense to help us. So we're going to look at these examples that we have here. J'ai mangé. Okay, we see that manger is our past participle and it is the ER verb. And so anytime a verb ends in ER and we're going to put it in the past tense, we would either drop the R and add an accent to the E or drop the ER and simply add an E accent aigu. Okay, that's the E with the accented aigu. So below here, we have another example that we've never seen before. So we have Je suis arrivé à la gare. So I did arrive or I had arrived at the train station. So this is also in the past tense, but we're using it with être. And something else that you've never seen before is that I have an extra E.
Where did it come from?
E added on to my arrivé, which is an ER verb, and we know it's going to end with an E accent aigu. We're going to learn it further into our lesson why Mademoiselle Felix added an extra E to this example. So we see that in order to know which verbs use être in the passé composé, we must remember them. Trust me when I tell you it's easy to remember, like just very much so easy. So we have 14 verbs, okay? 14. Those verbs are devenir, which means to become, revenir, to come again, mourir, to die, rester, to stay, sortir, to leave, and venir. I'm going to write it right here because I know you can't see it because of the stop button. Excuse my handwriting, guys. I am not good at this. Okay. So we have venir, which means to come, arriver, to arrive, naître, to be born, descendre, to descend, entrer, to enter, re-entrer, to enter again or to return home, tomber, to fall, retourner, to return, aller, to go, monter, to climb, and partir, which is to leave. Okay, so these are the 14 verbs that use not avoir, être in the past tense. Okay, être en le passé composé. So we see that être is basically the 14 verbs, they are verbs of movement. Aller, venir, arriver, entrer. This signifies that you're going somewhere, okay, or that you're coming, I would say. So basically the 14 verbs mean coming and going. All right, to say you're coming into the world, you'll be naître, to be born, aller, venir, arriver, all of them to say you're coming into the house, and it also verbs of leaving. Okay, sorti, parti, passer, um, retourner, and to be born is coming, and mourir is leaving. So that is another way to help you to memorize the 14 verbs that use être. Okay, another way that I'm going to show you, other than Dr. Mrs. Van der Tramp, which we saw earlier as the acronym to help us learn the 14 verbs, we saw that verbs of movement, the être, maison, okay, the house of être. And now the last way I'm going to show you is by learning it through the tune of 10 Little Indians. And while you're using the tune of the 10 Little Indians, you're actually using it in its past participle form. Okay, so if you know the song one little, two little, three little Indians, four little, five little, six little Indians. So we're going to use that tune to help us memorize this song. So I'm only going to maybe sing it twice. And if you need more time, it's okay to replay it. Okay, so let's go. We're going to say aller, arriver, venu, revenu, entrer, réentrer, descendu, devenu, sorti, parti, resté, retourné, monté, tombé, né et mort. Okay, so that's the pronunciation for the past participles. All right, let's get ready. On the count of three. One, two, three. And we go. Aller, arriver, venir, revenu, entrer, réentrer, descendu, devenu, sorti, parti, rester, retourner, monter, tomber, né, mort. Okay? You see that? Now, I am a person who loves music and I love beat. So we're going to try it with a little beat. I may shake a bit. So let's go and let's see how this goes. So this is the second time. All right. Aller, arriver, venir, revenu, entrer, réentrer, descendu, devenu, sorti, parti, rester, retourner, monter, tomber, né, mort. All right. Excellent. If you tried it with me, let's give yourself an applaudissez. Encore. Encore, encore, encore. All right. Excellent tout le monde. Excellent. Okay, so être. How do we conjugate the verb être, which means to be in the present tense, because that is the first thing that we're going to need to form our auxiliary verb. So être singulier is in the singular form. We have je suis, I am, tu es, you are. Oh goodness, I forgot the you are. Okay, so we know that. You are. Il est, he is. Elle est, she is. On est, one is. And then the pluriel, nous sommes, we are. Vous êtes, you are, the formal you are. Ils sont, they are, males and females or males only. Then we have elles sont, they are females only. So now we're going to look at some of the past participles. ER verbs such as aller, entrer, réentrer, they would follow the same patterns that ERs follow with avoir, which is to drop. You can either drop the ER and add an E with the accent aigu, or you can drop simply just the R and add an accent on the E. But if you notice with all of my past participles, I have an additional E in the bracket. So we're going to continue on with that information in the next slide. So we have IR verbs such as partir and sortir. You would drop either the R or the IR and include an I, or you can simply just drop the R and leave the I there. And then you notice that I have my E in the accent. I'm going to highlight it because I want you to pay very close attention to what's going to happen. Then we have RE verbs such as descendre, which means to go down, or to descend. So we know that the past participle for descend is going to be descendu. And I again take note that there's an E in the bracket. However, we have some verbs that are set apart, that are different, that are just bougie. Okay, so these bougie verbs do not follow the same past participles that ER, IR, and RE verbs follow in the passé composé. So verbs such as venir behave like RE verbs and it becomes venu. And then we have devenir, revenir. They're all in the venir area circle. They're all the same kind of bougie. So they follow the same, they behave like RE and they follow the same past participle pattern. So they become devenu and revenu. Okay. And then we have the verb naître, which means to be born. It does not behave like RE verbs, so it would not be nu or netu. Instead, it has a special format and it's né. Okay. And then we have mourir, which does not behave like a regular IR verb. Instead, the past participle is different and it is mort. So we know in order to form the sentence in the past, we need our subject. Then we need the auxiliary verb, which must agree with our subject, and the past participle plus the whatever it is, the extra information that needs to go with the sentence to complete it. Okay, so our example, je suis allé au cinéma. Okay, we see that I went to the movies. Okay, nous sommes sortis. We went out, okay, or we left. So we went out. Elles sont nées en mai. Okay, they are born or they were born in May. Okay, so we wanted to show that there's a singular form for using the être in the passé composé, and then we have the plural form. Agreement in gender and number. The reason être is different in the passé composé from avoir is that avoir doesn't have anything to do with the gender of the person who's talking. So if it's I, um, if I want to say that I ate, it's going to be j'ai mangé. There's no agreement that needs to take place. However, with être, agreement must take place with the past participles. So that is why you saw that when it came to the past participle, I always had my E in the bracket as an indicator that if you are female or if you're talking about a female, okay, you must add the additional E. Take note of our example. Il est entré dans la classe. So he entered the classroom. So it's a male, so I would leave entrer at simply just one E with the accent aigu because we're really describing a male, so there's no need for us to add an additional E. Only if I was talking about a female or I'm talking about myself as a female, would I use E, the extra E, and there's no accent on top of that E. So let's look at if it's a female now talking. Elle est entrée dans la classe. So here you will see that the female is being described or talked about. So we had to add the additional E to entrer to signify to the reader that we're talking about a female, okay? Then we see ils sont partis. They left, okay? They left. And we're talking about either all boys or perhaps a mixture of boys and girls. But the way that the reader would know that we're just talking about males is by saying the parti without an E, simply an S to show that it's plural now. So remember, whenever you're pluralizing, anything in French it takes the same form as English, so you would add an S, okay? And then we have elles sont parties. So two changes took place there. We had to add the additional E because we were talking about females only, as in they left. And then we added an S to signify that they is plural and not singular. Okay, everyone, I hope that explains the passé composé with être. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the comment section down below. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next lesson.